We all know the legends, gamers who changed the game forever. But what about the ones who never got the chance? Today, we're looking at the 5 absolute worst gamer deaths ever. Tragic, shocking stories of players who were on the verge of greatness before fate hit pause. This one's heavy, but their stories deserve to be told. Addiction comes in many forms. Some people get hooked on substances, others on gambling, and for a growing number, it's gaming. What starts as fun can slowly become a trap you can't escape from. This first story is about a young man who had the world of gaming in his hands, and then lost everything to it. Back in the early days of Clash Royale, one player was on his way to becoming a legend. He wasn't just good, he was elite. Known as Justus Flobby von Eitzen, this 22-year-old German gamer had already built a name for himself in the competitive scene. By 2018, he joined SK Gaming's Clash Royale team, one of the most respected esports organizations in the world. Flobby wasn't just another name on the roster, he was one of the founding members of the squad. Over the next 2 years, his talent helped shape the team's success. He played a key role in their runner-up finish at the CRL Europe 2018 Fall Finals in Los Angeles, an incredible achievement for a brand new division. Even after stepping back from competition, he stayed close to the community as a content creator, streaming, laughing, and connecting with fans. To most people, Flobby was the definition of positivity, upbeat, funny, and full of energy. Fans often saw him playing with his friends, Morten and Big Spin, 2 of Germany's biggest Clash Royale content creators. On streams, they'd joke around, challenge each other, and celebrate wins together. There was never any public hint that something was wrong. But behind that bright personality, Flobby was struggling with something far darker. In a note later found after his passing, he revealed he'd fallen into debt caused by a gambling addiction, specifically sports betting. The same drive that made him such a fierce competitor had turned against him, fueling habits that were slowly tearing him apart. On one tragic day, Flobby posted a farewell message to his loved ones, then left home in his car. Not long after, he was gone. Reports confirmed that he had died in a car crash shortly after sending that final message, the end of a life that had so much more left to give. His team, SK Gaming, shared the devastating news on Twitter. "We are shocked, in disbelief, lost for words. We have to say goodbye to our teammate and colleague and, most of all, a dear friend. We will always remember him for the light and joy he brought into our lives and into the hearts of so many." The esports community was heartbroken. Fellow players like Xoxum paid tribute, writing, "Farewell, my friend, we will miss you. You were such a good-hearted person, and we shared so many great memories." Even the official Clash Royale esports account posted, "We are shocked and saddened to hear this news. Rest in peace, Flobby. You will be missed." To fans, it was unthinkable. How could someone who seemed so cheerful, so full of life, be fighting such a painful battle in silence? It's a haunting reminder that even those who seem the happiest on the outside can be carrying invisible struggles inside. Flobby's story isn't just about the dangers of gaming or competition, it's about what happens when passion becomes pressure, when escape turns into addiction. He'll always be remembered as a brilliant player, a kind soul, and a warning of how easily the game we love can sometimes play us. Alright, imagine this. You're deep into a late-night gaming session. You're battling the same rival who's been trash-talking you for weeks. It's all supposed to stay online, right? Just some heated words, a few insults, and then everyone logs off. But for one gamer in 2024, things went way, way beyond that. This story starts in New Jersey, where 20-year-old Edward Kang was obsessed with a massively multiplayer online RPG called Archie Age. For those who don't know, Archie Age used to be one of those fantasy games where players could build, fight, and compete in massive worlds. But by early 2024, the game was dying. Player numbers were shrinking, servers were shutting down, and emotions in the community were running high. Kang had a long-running feud with another player, someone he'd never even met in real life. Their rivalry had gone from normal in-game competition to pure hostility. There were constant insults, non-stop trash talk, and endless arguments. For Kang, the line between game and reality started to blur, and when Archage announced that it would officially shut down, something in him snapped. He told his family that he was heading out of town to visit a friend he'd met online, but that wasn't true. Instead, he boarded a flight from Newark, New Jersey, all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, on a mission to confront his online enemy face to face. He checked into a hotel near the other gamer's home, and according to police, he went shopping for two things: a hammer and a flashlight. Receipts for both were later found in his hotel room. Fast forward to the early hours of a Sunday morning. Kong, dressed in black clothes, gloves, and a mask. He walked up to his rival's house. The door was unlocked, and quietly slipped inside. Then he waited. Around 2 a.m., the victim got up from gaming to use the bathroom. As he stepped into the hallway, he came face to face with Kang, standing there, hammer raised. Before the victim could react, Kang swung. Chaos erupted. The two struggled violently in the dark as the victim screamed for help. His stepfather, thankfully awake nearby, heard the commotion and rushed in. Together, the two managed to overpower Kang, wrestle the hammer away, and hold him down until deputies arrived. When officers got to the scene, they found blood everywhere, on the bedroom floor, in the entryway, even near the door where Kang had entered. The victim, though badly injured, miraculously survived. He was rushed to the hospital with severe head wounds and later treated with staples to close the cuts. Kang, on the other hand, was arrested on the spot. He was charged with attempted second-degree murder and armed burglary, both serious felonies. When deputies questioned him, his answer was as cold as it was shocking. He said he attacked because he believed the other player was a bad person online. He even asked investigators how much prison time he might face for breaking and entering, as if this were just another game mission gone wrong. Sheriff Bill Leeper of Nassau County summed it up perfectly. This is one of those cases that makes you ask, what in the world was he thinking? Leeper later added, this should serve as a wake-up call. The internet can bring people together, but it can also push them to dangerous extremes. And sometimes, the consequences are terrifyingly real. This incident became one of the most disturbing examples of what experts now call internet banging, when digital arguments spill over into real-world violence. It's a grim reminder that behind every avatar, every message, and every bit of online trash talk, there's a real person. And sometimes, one bad moment of rage can destroy two lives, all over a game that doesn't even exist anymore. Virtual reality is supposed to be the ultimate escape, a way to leave the real world behind and step into a digital one that feels limitless. But for one man in Moscow, that escape ended in tragedy. In December 2017, a 44-year-old gamer was spending the evening alone in his apartment on Marshal Zhukov Avenue. Like many tech enthusiasts, he was excited about the new VR technology that promised to transport players straight into another world. So, he strapped on his headset, launched the game, and dove in, completely unaware that it would be his last session. Fully immersed in the simulation, the man began moving around his apartment, reacting to what he saw in the virtual world rather than the physical one. But in reality, his surroundings were far from the open space he imagined. At some point, he lost his footing, stumbled, and fell hard, right into a glass table. The impact was brutal. The table shattered instantly, sending shards flying across the room and deep into his body. Investigators later said the cuts were severe enough that he likely bled to death within moments. By the time help could have arrived, it was already too late. When his mother came by later that day to visit, she found him unresponsive. According to reports from Russia's investigative committee, the cause of death was massive blood loss caused by injuries sustained in the fall. They noted that the man had been moving around while wearing his VR headset, unable to see where he was going. The Ukrainian news outlet Correspondent.net suggested that the virtual game's boundaries hadn't been properly mapped to fit the actual size of his apartment, a small but deadly detail that may have caused the fatal accident. Authorities believe this was the first recorded VR-related death in Moscow. a sobering milestone that sparked a lot of discussion about just how immersive and potentially dangerous virtual reality can be. Gaming outlets like Kotaku had already been warning that while VR offers incredible experiences, it's not without risks. Developers themselves have admitted that players often underestimate how their brains adapt to virtual spaces. You start trusting what you see through the headset, and your sense of real-world awareness fades away. It's not uncommon for gamers to bump into walls, furniture, or even other people while wearing VR goggles. In fact, some developers shared stories of accidentally punching coworkers during multiplayer painting games or smashing holes in ceilings trying to catch virtual objects. One VR creator, Justin Liebrechts, who helped design Cloudland's VR mini-golf, once recalled a chilling moment when he nearly walked straight off a real balcony while playing. "Our office was on the 18th floor," he said. "In the game, I thought I was stepping onto a platform, but in real life, I was about to step into open air. You have to remind yourself, okay, this is real life. I can actually die here." That's the terrifying irony of virtual reality. It feels so real that your brain forgets you're still in your living room. The Moscow case remains one of the clearest reminders of that danger. VR can transport us to magical worlds, alien planets, and impossible adventures. But our bodies never leave Earth. One wrong move, one unplanned step, can turn an escape into a disaster. So, next time you strap on a headset, take a second to clear your space and remember, in VR, you can't hit respawn in real life. Imagine this. You're settled in for a quiet night of gaming. The rain tapping against your windows, the occasional rumble of thunder in the distance. That's exactly how Aidan Rowan, a 33-year-old gamer from the UK, thought his evening would go. He was sitting in his living room, fully absorbed in his PlayStation playing Stray, a game about a stray cat navigating its way home through a thunderstorm. Little did he know, the storm outside had other plans. Around 10:30 p.m., Rowan heard a sudden loud crack and immediately felt a heavy jolt shoot through his body. "It took about a minute to come back to my senses," he recalled. "I felt very, very confused. I went upstairs and asked my husband for a wet towel because my arm was burning and I had no idea what had just happened." The cause? Lightning. A bolt had struck near his home, bounced off water on the ground, and shot straight through his open window, hitting him directly. The impact was strong enough to throw him from his chair and leave branch-like burns across his arm. His husband, Aaron, immediately recognized the severity of the situation and rushed him to the hospital. Once there, the scene was chaotic. Rowan explained, "We got to reception, and Aaron said it might have been a lightning strike. Everyone turned to look at me." He was whisked through to an assessment room, where 9 doctors from multiple departments checked him over. He was hooked up to a heart monitor, had blood tests, and underwent thorough examinations to ensure no lasting internal damage. Miraculously, he survived with only a few cuts on his left arm and a small burn on his right hand. Doctors explained that the lightning had likely bounced off a puddle outside and entered his apartment through the window. The unusually hard ground, a result of a recent UK heatwave, probably contributed to the unusual trajectory of the strike. "We just couldn't really process it at the time," Rowan said. "After a few days, it started to sink in. I realized I could have died." Despite the trauma, Rowan and his friends have managed to find humor in the situation. "Once people realized I was okay, there have been quite a few jokes about Thor," he laughed. "That's the last time I play a cute cat game during a thunderstorm, I think." His story is not just shocking, it's a stark reminder of how dangerous lightning can be, even indoors. Lightning strikes around 25 million times a year in the US alone, killing an average of 47 people annually. Most strikes happen during the summer, but NOAA warns that they can occur any time, often even after a thunderstorm seems to have passed. The rule of thumb? If you can hear thunder, the storm is close enough to strike. Rowan's experience underscores an important point. You can never be too careful when nature is involved, even while gaming. One moment, you're guiding a virtual cat through digital rain and lightning. The next, a real storm can reach right into your living room. His survival is nothing short of miraculous, and his story serves as both a cautionary tale and a reminder to respect the power of nature. and maybe to keep your windows closed during a thunderstorm. Gaming can transport us to other worlds, but our bodies always remain in this one, and sometimes that's a difference between life and death. In a shocking incident out of Florida, a 2-month-old infant was seriously injured after a 10-year-old girl, following instructions she received online, dropped the baby on a tile floor. Authorities say this horrifying event was orchestrated by the child's own mother, Tara Alexis Sykes, through the online gaming platform Roblox. Sykes, 36, was arrested and charged with attempted murder while engaged in aggravated child abuse. According to the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, she used Roblox to communicate with her daughter and allegedly instructed her on various methods to kill the infant, who she is related to. Court documents revealed that Sykes told the child to drown the baby in the bathtub, burn him with scalding water, and even drop him on the floor, which tragically led to the skull fracture the baby suffered. The incident came to light when Gulf Coast Kids House, a child advocacy center that handles forensic interviews and medical exams for suspected abuse victims, contacted the sheriff's office. Investigators learned that the infant had become fussy, and the 10-year-old, trying to find an adult, accidentally dropped him in the kitchen. The baby was immediately rushed to the hospital by his foster father. Doctors confirmed the infant had a serious skull fracture, but fortunately, he is expected to survive. In interviews, the 10-year-old explained that she had followed her mother's instructions out of fear. She told authorities that she was terrified that if she didn't obey Sykes, her mother might harm or even kill her. The horror didn't stop there. Investigators uncovered that Sykes had also instructed the child on ways to kill the adults she was living with at the time, telling her to slit their throats in their sleep and to set their house on fire by soaking bedsheets with aerosol spray. While the child attempted some of the steps, she was unable to carry them through, thankfully preventing further tragedy. Sheriff Chip W. Simmons expressed his disbelief at the case, stating, "I have been in law enforcement for over 40 years and have never seen anything quite like this. There is something really wrong with her." He called the allegations deeply disturbing, noting the shocking reality that someone could not only conceive such plans, but attempt to manipulate a child into carrying them out. Sykes remains in custody without bond, and authorities do not anticipate pressing charges against the 10-year-old, who is clearly a victim herself in this terrifying manipulation. The investigation is ongoing, as officials try to piece together the full extent of Sykes' actions and ensure the safety of all involved. This case stands as one of the darkest examples of how online platforms, even those intended for children, can be weaponized by predators. Roblox, widely recognized as a creative and social gaming environment for kids, became a tool for manipulation and fear in this instance. It's a chilling reminder that parents and guardians need to monitor children's online interactions closely and to maintain open communication to safeguard against threats that may lurk behind seemingly friendly avatars. For the 10-year-old, the experience was traumatizing, but with intervention, authorities were able to prevent further harm. For the infant, survival is a small but crucial victory. And for the community, this story serves as a stark warning. Even games designed for fun can become the stage for real-world horrors when they fall into the wrong hands.